Blackmagic, we need to talk. So Blackmagic Design recently announced a bunch of new products either available for purchase right now or coming out later in the year. And they also announced the Blackmagic Pyxis. Okay, let's get into it. So Blackmagic Pyxis is basically Blackmagic's answer to people who wanted a box-style cameras. The specs are basically roughly the same as those of 6K Pro cameras, so there's nothing really new about that. It's 13 stops of dynamic range, blah, 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 Blackmagic RAW, all the previous stuff that we're pretty much used to from Blackmagic at this point. But, there is just one giant caveat with that camera, and that caveat is the display. And the display, from the looks of it, looks perfectly fine. I'm not saying that the display is bad. What I'm saying is that the placement of that display is absolutely terrible. Allow me to elaborate. So the display is put on the side of the camera. Now, granted, that is nothing new. Cameras like Arri Alexa have had a display on the side for forever. Certain other cameras have displays on the side, so that's not really a problem. But the display portion of those cameras is usually just to adjust the settings. And it's a fairly small display that is protected by a screen protector, and it's not a touch display. Blackmagic's approach, as it was with their pocket-style cameras, has been that that display is the main control unit for the camera. That is how you easily change all the settings. That is how you access the menu, blah, blah, blah. And also, their display has been the display where you preview the shot. Like it is on a pocket camera, for example, on the back, you have a display that you use to see what your composition is in color, etc., etc., etc. Now, in this camera, Blackmagic put it on the side, and it is not rotatable, and it is not adjustable like it is on something like the Ursa Broadcast or Ursa Mini Pro, whatever. You cannot swivel that display, you cannot tilt it, you cannot do anything. It is permanently bolted, so your angle of view is fixed and the display is fixed. So there's nothing you can do about that. Why did you do this, Blackmagic? Please explain. People who own Pocket 4Ks, Pocket 6Ks, have been asking for forever to have either a full-out flip screen, or at least eventually Blackmagic released their 6K Pro with the adjustable display that you were able to tilt. At least on the Pocket 4K, Pocket 6K, fine. Okay, I cannot adjust the display, but at least it's in the back, so if I'm shooting like this, I'm able to see what I'm doing. With this camera, you can't do that. The image is gonna be displayed on the side. You cannot do that, which basically necessitates the use of either a monitor or a viewfinder, both of which, by the way, are additional expenses. So the price point of this camera is $3,000, or if you want the PL mount version, it is $3,200, which is very, very cheap. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with that. And Blackmagic has historically been the company that was releasing products tailored to people who were kind of getting into the industry, and so Blackmagic for forever has been able to provide high-quality tools for people who don't have unlimited budgets, and I greatly, greatly appreciate that. I have no problem with Blackmagic. I own a ton of Blackmagic stuff. As you can see, I have the Ursa Broadcast, the Ursa Pocket 4K, a ton of their switchers, converters, you name it, I have it, okay? I spend a ton of money on Blackmagic stuff. I don't have a problem with them, with their products. For the most part, they're really, really good. However, what I've noticed over the years of just observing how Blackmagic releases products, which products they release, it is always constantly 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So they will release something that is awesome, that will have just one big caveat that prevents that thing from being great. And in this particular case with the Pyxis, that display, that fixed display, is what will hold this camera back. It would have made, I feel like, more sense if they wanted to pursue this kind of cinema market to put this display on the first assistant side, which means on the opposite side of the camera, instead of putting it on this side, on the operator side of the camera. Because, for example, with Arri Alexa, the actual display for controls, etc., is on the first assistant side, not on the operator side. In this case, it's on the operator side, which means also that if this camera will be shoulder mountable, which I'm sure some people will find a way to put it on your shoulder, when you have it on your shoulder and you're looking into the viewfinder, you inevitably gonna need to lock the display. If that is a possibility, you will need to lock the display, because otherwise your ear or something will touch some kind of button and start switching your settings, okay? So that is not great. And obviously, if you are running and gunning even with a camera like this, I can do this and I can see what my image is. With this, I can't. Even with a Red Komodo, with their stupid little display on top, which I'm by no means a fan of, you can at least do something. You can at least look down on and see something, okay? In this case, it's not possible. Like, you're gonna need to like sideways look at your camera, which is really, really dumb, okay? It's really, really, really dumb. A similar form factor camera is something like a Sony FX6, and the FX6 has a separate display that you can mount on pretty much anywhere on the camera. It's fully adjustable, fully swivelable, whatever, and it's great. It works fine. It's not that big, but it works fine for those purposes. With this, is just, to me, it's a huge, massive oversight, especially considering that on something like Ursa Broadcast, for example, you easily could have implemented some solution like this, where you have a camera, you can flip out the display, and you can put it like this, so when you are, with the box camera, if you're shooting like this, you can look down and you can see what you are doing, okay? And I would have happily paid more for this camera. Let's say the current price is $3,000. If you priced it at $3,500 or $3,700 for the PL mount, I would have happily paid that. This, to me, is a massive oversight on the part of Blackmagic, and I hope that, I guess, now it's done. The cat is out the bag, so we can't fix it, but I hope that for Gen 2, if they will pursue and release a Gen 2 of this camera, for Gen 2, you're gonna have a rotatable, adjustable screen. Because for cameras of this form factor, it is absolutely essential, and it actually will help with the durability of the display, because if you can close it, the display is not exposed, so nobody will suddenly smash it or bump into it or do something to it. Again, having this big of a display on the side is always kind of worries me a little bit, because somebody can just, do something or smash it or whatever, or it can get broken in transport, etc., etc. So, I don't know, you tell me what you guys think. Do you think that this is a massive oversight on the part of Blackmagic? Would you consider buying this camera? Just tell me your thoughts in the comments. I would love to know what you guys think. And for now, this will be all.